Cascade Hoops Talk. Billy D. Join us on Twitter, Cascade Hoop Talk. Hey, we're happy to have Richard Brown from Union College. Richard played this season with Union. He had 63 blocks, one of the top shot blockers in the nation. Scored over 400 points and 250 rebounds. Welcome, Richard. Happy you came on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You grew up in the Houston area, Richard, and you went to Lutheran South High School. So, just talk about your high school years playing basketball.
Well, I only went to Lutheran South for 1 year, and my other 3 years I went to Travis High School, which is like a very big hotbed. They had the Harrison twins that went to Kentucky. They went to Travis. But at Lutheran, it was a great experience. I only went there for 1 year, and I got to do what I had to do to be successful. It was a great team, and I was under Coach Loudon, who had a lot of great players, and he just allowed us to have fun and play.
I have a question for you. How did the son of a top golfer, your dad attended Grambling on a golf scholarship, how did he let you go to the inside side of the sporting life and play hoop? Did he ever pressure you to play golf?
Golf was kind of my first sport when I was a little kid. I used to have like a little plastic golf club that I used to walk around with all the time and hit in the backyard. But once I started playing basketball and football and baseball, I said, Dad, golf is boring. I can't play this anymore.
You didn't tell your dad that, did you?
I did when I was little. I couldn't play it anymore. It was no energy was being burned off as a little kid, and you want to run around and stuff.
Well, you should be proud of your dad. He had a good golf career, and he stayed involved in golf, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a PGA golf pro now. He's an instructor. He goes around the country teaching kids who want to be golf instructors how to be better at their craft.
So he went to college, as I say, at Grambling and played golf. And you decided when did you decide you were wanted to go to college and play basketball?
I would say when I was around 14 years old, we had a real serious talk about my future in basketball, and he was like, "Well, if you want to do this, we're gonna invest in you, and you're gonna have to commit." And I did, and it turned out pretty well.
So talk about the decision to go to Gillette College up in Wyoming.
It was funny. Coach Neary loves Houston kids. He brings all these kids from not Wyoming areas, and he brings us all over there to play. I think me and 3 other kids from Houston that I knew before all decided to go to Gillette and play. So it's not like I was going there alone in the cold and freezing. We were all going to experience the tundra together. So it was pretty interesting.
And especially in your sophomore year, you guys had a really good team. You guys got to the Sweet 16 of the NJCAA Division I. Talk about that team.
That was my freshman year, actually.
Oh, freshman. Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, the freshman year, it was funny. We were all freshmen. He brought in a whole new team. He scratched his whole team. And a couple of years ago, they had the Player of the Year, and they went to the Final Four, I think, and lost in that game. So Gillette was pretty well known for bringing in kids from all over the place and bringing them to play. But that freshman year team, I would say we were the most successful because we all just wanted to win so bad, and we were all, I wouldn't say like naive to like winning, but we just wanted it all so bad. Like we just did whatever it took.
That was a very good team. You played at Gillette for 2 years. What are some of your best memories from playing up there in Wyoming?
One of the best memories was, I would say, winning the regular season championship and cutting down the nets. Having that experience to go to Hutchinson, Kansas, because going to that gym, it was the biggest junior college gym I've ever been to. It was one of the biggest gyms I've ever played in. It was like an NBA arena in there, and seeing all these college coaches and all these great players come into one arena and play. And it's funny, when you go all the way to the national tournament like that, you have no fans except for the people that traveled, and I would say like maybe eight people traveled there. And then you watch Hutchinson, Kansas play, who's like the home team, and it's packed and it's rocking. Yeah. So that was probably my greatest experience at Gillette.
Yeah, it's kind of like, up in Sioux Falls, if, say, Morningside or Dakota Wesleyan or some of those schools play, the Pentagon there can get pretty full. Otherwise, there's maybe 200 people in there or something for a game.
Yeah, especially with our situation with with the virus going on, there was nobody in there. We were playing in front of, I would say, people on their computers, and that was it. And our players, it was like a big practice. It was like a scrimmage kind of.
Yeah. You played 2 years at Gillette, and then you decided to go to University of Mary up in Bismarck, North Dakota. What was the deal? You grew up in Houston, which is warm and muggy. And when you took off to go to college, you went to Wyoming and then you went directly to North Dakota.
Yeah, that was I don't know. I wouldn't say I fell in love with the cold or anything. That's the farthest from the truth. But I don't know. There was just a lot of good people out there, and I had fun when I was playing. And it was funny. When I signed, my dad's from Oakland, so he's from the warm too, and my mom is from Houston, so they're all from the warm. And when I told them I was going there, they were like, "Well, we're not going to be up there for many games. It's freezing."
We're not going to come watch you.
Yeah, but mom came out and watched a couple, and so did my dad. It was just they came when it was kind of warm, per se. Warm was like 15 degrees
So
during
talk
basketball season.
talk about the decision. University of Mary is up there in Bismarck. It's a NC2A Division II school. Talk about the decision to go there.
The decision to go there, I thought it would be a great fit. I fell in love with my teammates and the coach, but when I got there, it was just like a big struggle for me. I couldn't really piece it together.
Yeah, you that year at University of Mary, like you say, you struggled a little bit. You didn't get to play a ton, but the team struggled too. I mean, you guys only went 12-17, and then you had come from a really good JC program out there in Gillette. I mean, so how frustrating was that to take all those L's while you were?
It's really frustrating. It was like, for a competitor, it hurts more to lose than it feels good to win, if that makes sense. It's like when you win, you're taking 3 steps forward, but when you lose, you're taking 5 steps back. Taking all those losses, it just made you cherish and work harder to try and get those wins. And it was just like a big struggle to figure it out. But I love the guys out there. That's probably one thing I miss about it. We just couldn't figure it out. We had great players and a great coach, but we just couldn't figure out how to win.
So you played 1 year there, and you had another year of eligibility left. What went into? Talk me through how that happened. You made obviously a decision that you were going to leave University of Mary. How in the world did you end up down at Union?
I ended up down at Union because I would say the assistant coach Alan Holt DM'd me on Twitter, and he told me about the history of Union and how they've been winning and all this other stuff. And then Coach Burton called me and said, this is your last year. We'll give you the opportunity to play. And, would you like to win your last year? Like, we have a reputation of winning. You'll come here and win. And that sounded pretty good coming from a guy who only won, who was under 500 his last year.
Richard, can you talk about Coach Burton just a little bit? Because you and I talked just before we started the interview, but, just watching that program from afar, he kind of specializes in finding guys like you that are underutilized, pulling people together from different areas, which lots of times is a recipe for disaster. But Coach Burton seems to have a real knack for getting guys from different programs and getting them to play together really quickly. How does he do that?
He comes, I would say he establishes the goal to win and play as hard as you can from the jump. So I would say playing for Burton, no matter where you came from, no matter who you played for before, is relatively easy because he doesn't put pressure on you to score or to get assists or anything like that. The only thing he puts pressure on you is to play hard and make smart decisions, which is relatively easy. He can't ask you. He never asked us to drop 20 or get a double-double or anything like that. He just asks you to play hard. So anybody from any background can do that. And when you bring in all those guys, this team is built on hard work and work ethic.
Was there anything special about the program that gelled people fairly quickly? Because that's I think is the strength of the program, is being able to get people to play together quickly.
I don't know. That's a good question. He just get us to play better, play Joe. He just asked us to do what we can. He didn't ask us to do anything special, like to gel quicker, because he had certain groups come in at certain times, That's one thing he takes a lot of asks a lot of questions about is his substitutions because he'll sub every 2 seconds if he can.
Yeah.
Like he has one special group for zone defense, and then he'll sub you out, and he'll put another group of defense in for press. So he had certain groups with certain people in it that were specialized or specialists in what they do. Like we had one dude on our team, Derek Morgan, who was probably the best defender on our team in pressure. He could pick you up full court, and he's like the goal man on our trap. So he came in whenever we were pressing, and then he came out whenever we weren't pressing. So in that group gelled together.
Okay.
That group was really together because they practiced together and they did all this.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Richard, when you look at your year at Union, I mean, the first thing that jumps out is those 63 blocks. I mean, do you just have a special nose for that ball, or talk about your ability to block a shot?
I don't think it was the ability or the nose to block a shot because in my previous years I was a shot blocker, but I wasn't that effective at it. It was probably because Burton and his way that he keeps track of his players' fouls. Like there would be some. I probably led the league in fouls. I think I did with 4.5. I fouled out a lot. So he really didn't care about fouls. So I would have 2 fouls. I might have 2 fouls in the first half, and he would leave me in because he trusted me that I would make the right decision on when to jump and when not to jump. So I wouldn't say he just gave me more confidence to go up and get it and not worry about fouls or all this or other nonsense that some other coaches would worry about.
It sounds like Coach Burton gave players more freedom than what you had typically been used to.
I think so because he let us go out and play. Like he would try and teach his players the game of basketball, and then after that, once you figured out that you knew how to play and how to play effectively, he'd let you go out and do it. So if it meant letting people play with fouls, he would do that. If it meant coming down and like not call a set or call a play and letting you just play in a pick and roll or just run the lane and catch the ball and have an easy score, he would allow you to do that. Like he would say most of the time he would rather not call a play at all. Just let us go out and play, just roll the ball out there, which is really interesting because not a lot of coaches let their players do that.
Right.
And especially with the talent set that we had, where we were very fast and very, very quick, it worked better for us.
So this season you scored over 400 points and you pulled down over 250 rebounds. Something clicked for you this year. This was one of your best college seasons. What do you attribute that to?
It was 100% my mentality. I just came in with the mindset that, this is your last year. The other two, the year before wasn't successful. We didn't win that much. You didn't do well individually. It said, you got to bounce back. You can't go out on the losing end. So I came in with just a mindset of I have to do better as a player and as a teammate, and then the team will even do better if I play better. The team will do better if the individuals will play better and do better.
Yeah, Richard, you transferred to Union. You talked about Coach Burton saying, come here and win. The season starts, and you guys open up 0-3. Was there a moment there where you were like, uh-oh?
No, absolutely not. We played really great teams in the first 2 games. We played Indiana Wesleyan, who had like an All-American 7-footer or the player, something like that. That was a great team. And then we played, I forgot that second team we played. But in the very beginning, some teams will rather take the easy route and play like tune-up games where like they blow the team out like 30 or something. But Coach Burton said he put us right in the fire and said, we're going to play the best teams we can at all times, and we're going to test ourselves against the best, not against some random team that only has 200 kids in the school. He wanted us to go up against real competition.
And right after that 3-game losing streak, you guys turned it right around. You went on a 6-game winning streak. Did you guys do anything special to turn it around, or?
No, we just kept grinding as a team. We had to we just practiced harder, took practices more seriously, and we just had to play better. As Coach Burton would say, play better.
You had a game in early February against Montreat. They gave you a run for your money this year. But it was a home game in early February. I think it was the key to you guys winning the conference. You had a big double-double. I think you pulled down 13 rebounds that night. Do you remember that game? And did you know at the time when you went into that game that was going to be a huge game in conference?
Well, it's funny because the way our conference is, every game is the biggest game of the season. So, like, we played everybody. We had the target on our back. We would play the worst team in the region or district, and they would give us the close game. And everybody wanted to beat us because they have a reputation of just killing people. I think they won the conference 7 times in a
Seven
row.
times, yeah.
Yeah, so you get hated really fast. So everybody wanted to beat us, and it wasn't just Montreat, it was every team. It was Kentucky Christian, it was Allen.
Yeah.
Everybody
Brian.
wanted to give us their best game. Yeah, Brian, like we lost to the last team in the district, gave us a run for our money. We only won by like 3 points.
Truett McConnell.
Truett McConnell. Yeah, everybody gave us their best game. So that game against Montreat, I remember it specifically because I think it was our senior night maybe. And yeah, that was a big game because they were second or third or something like that. And it was a real close race. I think we were up 1, and then we beat Montreat. And then I think Montreat was tied with somebody or something like that. So it was not just that game, but every game was a close game and meant the season. We didn't think we won the regular season until we won the last game.
Yeah,
because
it
I
did.
think we won and Montreat lost.
Yeah, it came right down to it. But then you went into the conference tournament, and then it came down to a championship game between you and Montreat. You know, you were able to win that game. You beat Montreat again. You had come to Union to finish your career, to win. How good did it feel to hoist that trophy, to know you had won the conference and you had won the conference tournament?
It felt great coming from. It felt like it was 2 years since I won something like that. So to go out and win on the last year and hold up that trophy, cut the nets again, it was a great feeling. It was a feeling I remember forever.
Yeah, it was almost a little bit of a storybook for you because you really wanted to finish your career on a high note, and you got it done.
Mm-hmm.
So then you went out to Sioux Falls. You're matched up against St. Francis, kind of a long, storied program in the NAI. How did you guys feel about that matchup, and what concerns did you have going into that game?
We felt good about that matchup. We felt that we matched up against them pretty well. The one thing that we worried about was their three-point shooting, and I think we had them pretty well on three-point shooting, but almost every game we beat the rebounding margin, and that was a team that beat us on the rebounding margin, and that's why I think that we lost. It's because we got out-rebounded, not necessarily because they were getting more threes up or making more shots. They just had more opportunities with the ball.
And then, man, Antoine Cushenberry, he's only a sophomore. He and Austin Cummins for you guys. I remember they traded baskets down the stretch. St. Francis was able to hold on. What do you remember about that big St. Francis comeback? And did you think about it as it started to slip away, knowing that could be your final game?
I mean, when it came down to the last couple of seconds, you knew that it was the last game. It was over. So there's like really nothing you can do about it when I think we got a tough call at the end where it didn't go our way on the press trap or something like that. It went out of bounds. They didn't call out of bounds.
Yes, yep.
It was just at that moment you could kind of feel like the life slip away, the game slip from you. But that run, you could kind of see we were missing shots and they were making them. They were getting their offensive rebounds, and we just didn't get the ball as much as they did in the last couple of minutes.
Was that one of the more athletic teams you played on?
I would say that in my freshman year of junior college, we had some dudes that could jump out of the gym, and Trent Williams and Edwin Judy, but I would say Union and Gillette freshman year were probably the most athletic teams I've been on.
You always know with Union and with Coach Burton that he's going to bring a very athletic team every year.
Yeah, he's going to bring athletic teams, and it seems like he likes lefty guards too. Every team he's had has lefties on.
Yeah.
I think this year we had like 5 lefties. That's the most lefties I've ever played with ever.
Richard, I'm sure you heard stories about that team that won the national championship, but boy, those guys could jump out of the gym.
They were athletes that knew how to play basketball.
Absolutely. What has it meant to you to be a part of Union College basketball, and now you're a piece of the history there?
It feels great to be a part of history. Winning, just being a part of the reputation of winning. It was one of the things that he mentioned a lot over the phone is, when you come here to win. It felt like I was playing for like Alabama or something. Like it was a magnifying. It was like reputation to win. Like if you lose, like it gets magnified even more. But if you win, it's like expected, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you played not to let people down, not let your teammates down, yourself down. That just pushes you to work harder and applies a little bit more of that good pressure, I would say, not bad pressure.
What's next for you after college basketball?
After college, I would like to go and play professionally somewhere, overseas or in the States, whatever basketball takes me. As you see, it's taking me all over the country, so now it'll probably take me all over the world. And then I was thinking about going into, me and my mom were recently talking about me trying to coach, going to coaching and coach basketball or going to the business world right now.
Well, you certainly would have something to some skills you could teach young men. You played at all levels. You played in all the geographical regions of the country. You've seen NJCAA basketball, NC2A basketball, NAI basketball. I mean, you have a wealth of knowledge there you could pass on.
Yeah, and I played under some great coaches too.
Absolutely.
That have also taught me a lot of things.
So when you look back at your 4-year career, what are two of the most memorable moments?
Two of the most memorable moments, I would say, is my senior night against Montreat, because my mom came all the way out there, and I'm a big mama's boy. Fun facts. So whenever she comes out, I have to play better and play harder. And I would say it has to be that last second shot against Montreat in the regional tournament. It was funny because I was in the play before that happened. I got a foul, and I jumped up going for a block foolishly, and he pump faked, and he took my legs out, and I fell on my back.
You see Jacoby Wharton, only a couple seconds to work with. Irvin, he can't get the shot to go. Follow-up attempt. And one. And we are tied at 81. Victor Shiona refusing to be denied. Brown, he's been a solid defender this entire contest. Gets bumped off, caught in the air. Shiona eats the contact. Game is tied, and now he has a chance.
Like flat on my back. So I was out that play, and I had to come out, and I was on the bench, and I saw the last shot, but I couldn't like run out there or anything because my back was spazzing up.
Wharton has it. Only a couple seconds to work with. He'll go. Kick to the corner. Irvin for the title. Nails it. Blake Irvin. The Union College Bulldogs have won yet another Appalachian Athletic Conference title, and in heartbreaking fashion for the Montreat Cavaliers.
So when that shot went up and it went in, I just turned around and looked at our trainer Shelby, and I was like, he really made that shot. He made it. So that was probably my best moments of my college career.
Yeah, I have one more AAC question. Where's the toughest place in the conference to go play?
Toughest place in the conference. I would have to say Montreat, to be honest. They got like a real small gym, and they got a real loud crowd. So it's like the noise bounces off the walls, and it feels like you're in like a little box. Like you can't really breathe or anything. It's a real small gym, but it gets jumping in there if it's a real close game.
You know, it's like kind of funny. Everybody I ask that question to, it's always some small gym that they bring up. So there's a lesson to all you programs out there that think you have to build some big gym to be intimidating. You need a small gym and then just pack it.
Yeah, pack it and have the crowd bring something. And Montreat, no one in the conference liked us. So whenever we came to play, they showed up. So that's one thing about playing for Union. You're going to play in front of somebody no matter where you go.
Well, Richard, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to us and tell your story. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.